So let's see. Before I get into the video, this is involving the Crumbley Parents issue. It's always been my belief that it is on the parents to dictate whether a child is, and if they are, when, how drastically, and how stylistically and as technically they're disciplined. Okay, and we can all disagree about how a child should or should not be disciplined. But in my mind, as long as you ain't beating the kid, as long as you're not terrorizing the kid emotionally, you know what I mean, like toxic people do, then any other form of discipline is probably not going to be that bad. If your mission isn't to dominate your kid, it's just to raise your child, keep them strong, keep them healthy.
Let's go, boy.
Keep them open-minded, keep them able to look for danger, but still try to, sane enough to live a regular life, try to be humble and kind and still be able to take the beating of the world. Well, that's my philosophy. That's how you should be as a parent. My father was pretty disciplinary with us, but he had his issues. We got away with stuff. My mom was pretty lax. She didn't really care about much. The house wasn't burned down. She wasn't too crazy about the discipline part. She knew we were boys, and my mom and dad weren't together since I was 3, so it was easy to get over on mom. You ain't getting over nothing on dad, and that's just how I grew up. Mom was nice. Any emotional need though, of course, mom was always there. Like, oh, well, she had you. Like mom. That's what moms are for at least for boys. As far as I could ever see. But I was disciplined. Like, I got my ass beat. I got stood in the corner. When I broke stuff, or like when I was a little shit, I burned stuff. I lit stuff on fire. I just liked I liked fire. I liked campfires and stuff, when I was just a little hothead. I mean, there were things that happened growing up that, maybe I was acting out sometimes, but I got my ass beat when I did stuff wrong. I had things taken from me. When I didn't deserve to have the freedoms I was enjoying because I was taking advantage of them. And it wasn't just taking advantage of them. I was doing things that were damaging while I was taking advantage. So, you have to be able to fight against that. And I know that. So this Crumbley parent issue, I believe, is wrapped deeply into a lot of the issues our country has as far as how we're parenting, how we're supposed to be able to parent, what parents can get away with. These lazy parents, you know what I mean? That don't want to, they just let their kids kind of do whatever they want. Like, oh, I love him. I don't want him to get in no trouble. I don't want him to do it anywhere else. If he does it here, at least I can keep him safe. And you hear these kind of things all the time. And the whole time in my mind, I'm going, that ain't happening. Like, that wouldn't happen in my home. I have the ability with this hand right here to grab up someone or something and make things happen. As a father, as a man of the house, like type of thing, that's just what you have to be able to do. So if some kid were to tell me, you ain't telling me what to do, I'd be like, whatever things they owned would now be mine. In my home, I would take their things. They can go to the cops. If you're a kid and you're my kid, but the cops ain't gonna do nothing. I'm like, what? I took his stuff. I'm like, oh, wasn't obeying his parents, his rules? No. Well, because I've had that type of issue where I've seen cops have to tell kids, like, maybe it was online. It's probably online. Everything you see anymore is online. But where cops have had to tell kids, like, look, man, no, you don't run the house. It's so funny to me. But I don't know what was going on with this kid. I don't know if he was calling out. I don't know. These parents just seemed neglectful to me. To be honest, I really didn't watch too much of the case, even though it literally happened miles from here. I'm from just outside of Oxford, Michigan. So Oxford strong, everybody. Because what happened to those kids, those type of things should never happen. Those kids should have never even been in that kind of danger. That kid should have been known as to far as what he was going through, and he should have been being mentally looked after and mentored through whatever bullshit he's going through. And his parents should have been pulled aside and figured out that too.
Come on.
What's really happened is we've kind of lost this community thing about each other. We always want to blame and point fingers and think that we're okay where we're at, when really not helping leads to this kind of thing too. A lot of people turn blind eyes to things that they shouldn't, or they'll see a red flag and go, nah, it can't be. I can't get involved now. Legally, I can't do anything. You get hemmed up a lot of ways nowadays. Back in the old day, you used to be able to shoot people in the old West, kind of. I mean, not that you really could shoot people and murder people, but
Get him, Marshall.
they were outlaws and they lasted a while. Things were kind of crazy. But people, there was still like law of the land, law of the family, law of the household, law of respect for your fathers and your mothers, and care for the women, and raising up of the boys. Those types of things have died out. They've basically gone away. I mean, not here, not with me. Like I said, you can ask my kids. I got some spankings. They ain't gonna get away with shit with dad. Dad is not going to allow you to ruin your own lives by doing stupid stuff, or getting into bad habits, or getting into in a position to have a barricade in front of you, self-made barricades. We do this all the time as humans. You're almost never going to get away from it, but you have to be aware that it happens. We have to be able to safeguard our kids against these types of things in life. And the only way to do this is to see it in ourselves and in our lives. Where did this happen to me? And we have to be able to be involved with our kids. Look, if you got kids, man, it's not over once they get on to go to the microwave and make their own Hot Pocket. Doesn't mean you're done then. Okay? That's not a sign of them being an adult. That's a sign of them not being able to burn the house down because you conveniently have a microwave that they can push buttons on. You want to teach a kid responsibility? Teach them how to cook. Okay? I start getting upset with these things. These little things, people. It's like they say that thing where in school they don't teach them taxes. They don't teach them, about gas money. You got to have it. Like, they don't teach them like budgeting. And you're right, they don't. There are some classes that do touch on that, like economics classes, if you're able to take that elective. But it's almost like it puts it in a spreadsheet, it like feeds it to you spreadsheet form, so it almost feels like it's not real. But anyway, so this Crumbley case, we're gonna get into this real quick now that you kind of know where I'm at, and we're gonna see what happens to these parents. Now, I don't know, so if you guys see this and you want to comment on it, go right ahead. Tell me what you think. You may have been following this a little closer than I have. I wanna know all the facts. All I know is this boy killed a bunch of kids in Oxford over here. His parents were kind of nowhere to be found for a while. They found them. They're in jail. It feels to me like they are obviously responsible if you're on the listen. Let me just add this little caveat, if you will, on the way I feel about this. If you're running as a parent, if you're on the run, taking off, it don't look good for you. What are you running from? Your 15-year-old just crime? Listen, you only run when there's something to run from. The truth doesn't run. The truth doesn't have to go anywhere. It stands its ground, and everybody has to try to get through it. And that's just something that doesn't typically happen unless there's some kind of crazy stuff going on, and that's obviously not happening here. This kid did a crime, and his parents were running. So that's as much as pretty much I know about this case. So let's just take a look here what she says. Now, listen, all this mayhem, all this destruction is because somebody couldn't raise their kid right. Was afraid to raise their kid. Didn't care about raising their kid. Something's broken in our family unit. Community-wise, we need to figure this out. We need to help each other raise each other's kids again with some trust. I will admit there's predators out there, and the vibes are high. You know what I mean? Like, people are kind of super aware of this. Everybody's kind of on the stranger danger thing. Remember back in the 80s, stranger danger was huge. The white van was the big deal. If it didn't say ice cream on the side, you better get the hell out of there. You don't trust the white van anymore. Now white vans are kind of like construction worker guys. Construction worker guys. You're always going to be kind of looked at weird like that. Just make sure you don't get the tinted windows or bust one out or something so someone can see inside. Don't you want to give no hints to something negative like that. But anyway, we're not all strangers. There's some people in your community you can trust. Like, I live in a small trailer park, so. And I can see these kids running around, and they're kind of just running the neighborhood, not really doing much. I really wish there's some kids that hang out at the park, and I always think of, like, when I'm walking my dog and stuff, like, man, I wish there was just a little more for these kids to do around here. Like, these little parks and shit ain't nothing. This kind of, they're left up to their own devices, and that's what you see them with, is their devices. Looking at their phones a lot. But a little spark is, they're not always like that. I do see a lot of these kids kind of hanging out without their phone too. I do see a lot of that as well. So it's kind of a mixed bag. But see, all the screen time, all these things, these are all tied into these parenting issues that plague us. There's more things to be instantly gratified with, and these kids want more of it. I mean, I see these babies all the time. This is something that, it's weird because it's one of those things that you see and it happens a lot. And when a certain situation shows itself, it's apparent in a lot of those situations. And one of those things I noticed is young, really, really young, like toddlers and stuff, wanting the phones of their mothers. Like, they want their mom. And I say moms maybe because it's more I see them with their moms more. like that, but because I mean, I have used my phone. Like when my granddaughter's crying, Miss Rachel, psh, boop, 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 boop. For the youngest granddaughter, it's like a movie theater. She's instantly like locked in, like she paid the price and everything. She got popcorn.
Thank you, Papa.
Right there when you pop Miss Rachel on. So I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but it's just like an epidemic. I just see it a lot. So as humans, even at a young age, we seem to be really prone to want to play with these gadgets. You know, it's the bright lights, it's the like 3D effect of it. You know, it's all those things that really get your little insectoid little feelers going. You know, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. Insectoid. I might have lost half the audience with an insectoid talk like that, but so let me just see if I can find this real quick. Okay, so here we go. I took you guys on a long journey to get here because I accidentally hit the wrong button, but we finally got to the sentencing part. So let's just play it real quick.
Best interest of justice and are reasonable and proportionate to the seriousness of the matter and the circumstances surrounding each defendant. With regard to Jennifer Crumbley, it is the sense of this court, Ms. Crumbley, that you serve 10 to 15 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections. You will have credit for 858 days. State costs are $272. There's a crime victims' rights fee of $130. You and your agents may not have any contact with the families of Madison Baldwin, Tate Meir, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling. I will issue another ruling with regard to contact with your son, the shooter. Excuse me. As to defendant James Crumbley, it is the sentence of this court that you serve 10 to 15 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections, that you receive credit for 858 days, that you pay state costs in the matter of $272, that there is a crime victims' rights fee of $130, that you or your agents have no contact with the families of Madison Baldwin, Tate Meir, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling.
They probably got the same thing.
Ms. Wheeler, have I left anything out with regard to sentencing? No restitution has been requested by any of the families at this time, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. I would like to advise both defendants that you are entitled to appellate review of your conviction and sentence, including that the sentence exceeds the guideline range. This is done.
Okay, so we all know what happened. They got 10 to 15, no contact with nobody, and she'll get back to them on what they can do to talk to their boy. I mean, do you think is this the fair sentence? Is this what we call fair now? Because I tell you what, beating your kids is about to come back in style. Spanking your kids is about to come right back. I tell you what, 10 to 15? I'm going to save myself 10 to 15 to put discipline on my boy or girl. Listen, you know what grounded feels like today? It's like a picnic. It's like a federal prison compared to like, you know, Alcatraz. It's like a federal cushy, a governmental politician would go here, movie stars go here where there's like kind of like gardens and stuff on the outside, and you get that ain't gangster compared to like Alcatraz, where you're getting stabbed if you turn the wrong way at lunch or something, you know? Because there's no way you're gonna get this guy to do that time when all I gotta do is maybe 90 days. Beat your ass, I'll get 90 days. I'll get 90 days and you'll be free of me for a minute. I'll be back home. 10 to 15. I'm not doing the 10 to 15 because I let you mess around and you went off and got all crazy and you know, neglected. Basically, you got neglected. Nobody's watching after you. I'm not leaving you with nobody watching after you. I'm gonna watch after you. I'm gonna watch after you. I mean, listen, I remember this time my son was having a rough time. Me and his mom got into some stuff, and we had to go our separate ways, and I wasn't able to be with the kids for a while, and that really hurt me. And my son was really upset about it for a while, even into his 20s. You know, me and him were just starting to get over that hump of our relationship. But when I remember there was a time when I went up to his school, and I had to get all his stuff from his teachers. And I had a couple teachers give me issues. But you're the parent. They're the teacher. They can tell you what your son and your daughter aren't doing. If you go up there to make sure you're getting it, you know, and collecting, they should be ready to hand it off. They should be willing and happy to give you and help you. Even if their student's little piece of poo-poo and giving them a bunch of doo-doo,
You gonna learn today.
they should still want to make sure that when the parent comes and says, hey, look, man, I noticed there's some things going on. I'm here. Let's figure this out. I want to figure this out. They should be all on board. So it's just weird that a couple teachers didn't. But like, if parents aren't willing to do those types of things where you're like, and trust me, their mom was all over it. Like when she usually handled it, but when she was like, look, I need help with this. This is one of them ones I needed help with. Like there was a lot of things that we did together that were right. So parents got to work together, you know. And when they do work together, the school should help them when they come up there with issues like that. Well, now you have different issues than what we had when we were kids. You have all these inclusive, the DEI stuff getting into the schools, and I don't want to get too much into that on this video. But I'll just put it this way: I'm a conservative minded when it comes to these things. I believe discipline from the father is a very big part in raising children. I believe children should fear their father a little bit.
No.
And if you want to ask my kids if they ever feared me when they were kids, they'll tell you. I made it so. Like Captain Picard said, make it so. I made it so. I wasn't having them run game on me or their mother. I wasn't going to let them turn out the way that I turned out when I was with my mom. And the way that, and I did it the way my father showed me. Because when I was with my mom, I was a little crazy. When I was with my dad, that didn't happen. So I saw that dichotomy of activity in somebody who likes to create a little mischief and have a little fun and be a little risky, which was me. I like doing risky things and stupid stuff. Maybe it's a boy thing. Maybe it's just a personality trait. I don't know. But I needed that grounding. I needed that stability. And as you grow up and you kind of listen to people talk, like Jordan Peterson and who's got their their degrees and knows their stuff in psychology and some kind of philosophy, and they have a good philosophy that works. When you listen to these, they tell you children need stability, they need guidance, they need structure, they need discipline. If you can meld these things together in this amalgamation of raising the child, then you're probably gonna have some success. There's no way anybody can predict full success in any situation, obviously. But you take that amalgamation, throw it to the side, and just do the old crumbly parent thing. What seems to be what they did anyway. You do that and look at the result. At least look at what the snowball down the hill result could be. When everybody neglects everything and accepts everybody for who they are, and like all this crazy bullshit, nobody wants to listen to anything solid anymore. We need to get back and be grounded. And I'm not trying to say mean. This isn't about being mean or anything. I'm not trying to be negative on any of these things. I just think we've lost a little bit in our race for whatever the hell we're trying to reach right now with all this crap. I tell you, it's crap. It's turned into crap. The ideas that may have been good at one point or liberal or nice or whatever, or everything's done flipped around. Like I said, I don't want to get into that too much, but that's for another time. This is about this case. So we just found out that these people got 10 to 15. They're definitely going to see some time in there. And I don't know. Anybody know how these kind of people get treated in prison? They didn't kill nobody. What are you in for? Being a dumb piece of shit parent? But what do you do? What do you do about that? Like in prison, like you just let these people go do your time, man. I mean, I hope you take a couple classes before you get out of here in 10 years. I don't remember what happened with that kid, to be honest. I don't know if anything happened. Maybe he hasn't got that far yet. Anyway, if you know, go ahead and comment about it. I don't really remember. Like I said, I didn't follow too much, but because this is just, as much as it was local, it became to me one of those things that just keeps happening everywhere. These things just keep happening everywhere you go. And the fact that it was that close, I'll be honest, it didn't really surprise me much. It didn't really surprise me. It was weird, like, whoa, that close? That's kind of crazy, but a little bit. But not really, it didn't really surprise me. Because this kind of mindset is kind of getting bred into our country through all these things. The death of the nuclear family, those types of things, those types of thought processes, like white man bad or whatever. I made bad mistakes. My family's through some trash at times. I never lost that faith in myself or being a father. Even though I was making some bad decisions, and I went through some things myself, so my rocks and I had a rocky foundation to work with, Not as bad as a lot of people, but definitely it was rocky. And going through all that, I never lost that need. And I'm a hard worker. You'll never see anybody working harder than me. You'll never find somebody going out there, come out on an asphalt day and watch me work and watch me work and work and work. I'm 47 years old. Unless I get hurt or something. And even then, I might work through some of that pain for a little while to try and get the job done or whatever. Listen, anyway, if you know me, you know me. A lot of you people that look at my Facebook. So white man bad doesn't apply here. You can say what you want. I know I've heard people say hard work is bad. Hard work gets you places. Hard work is what you do to do stuff. Sitting down, looking at a TV screen, making 10-second TikTok clips doesn't get you anywhere. Maybe it does. You know what? Never mind. I'll never do TikTok ever. Just so you know, I might do an X because I like the talk of freedom. I like the talk of freedom, so let me get on there and say what I say, see what happens. Then I'll know. Facebook's never banned me, so that's weird. I've said apparently I'm not bad enough, and maybe that's what I'm talking about is I can find this middle ground. You can see. Listen, I'm not copping out to anything. This parenting thing, I'm dead straight. I will spank my kids if I had more kids and they went put it this way: if I had a toddler that got a hold of a fork somehow, and was about to hit a light socket, bruh. If I don't hit you at least half as hard as that light socket's gonna hit you, I'm not doing my job. Okay? And if I see you breaking somebody's stuff, like physically breaking or stealing, guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna be spanking times. You don't steal. You don't break people's property. I did those things. I wish somebody, there was times my dad did spank me. I'm not gonna spank you like my dad spanked me.
Oh God, no!
Maybe that's the difference. Because my dad, he had a paddle, and that thing had holes in it, so it didn't catch no air. It was like a lightsaber. I'm telling you, it burned like a lightsaber, that paddle. I use my hand. You get like a bare butt 5-6 swatter. I might use the belt 2-3 swats, maybe, if you really broke something expensive or some shit. We don't break the $600-700 items. Break the $30-40 items. Then you just get a little finger wagon. That's a lesson in value. Level of spanking is ranked by price of object. It's just a thing. It's always been there and throughout history. I just want you to know that. It goes in the same thing when you do when somebody breaks the law. The more money, the more discipline from the crime. But all jokes aside, I do believe in discipline. I believe in fatherly discipline. I believe in military discipline. If you ever seen somebody in the military go in there a fucking hard ass, they come out a hard ass as well, but they're a different kind of hard ass. All that bullshit's been stripped away from them, and then something else was put in its place. Honor, compassion, empathy for your fellow soldiers and your leaders and the people you're trying to protect. You learn strategy, you learn tactics, you learn to stay sharp and focused. There's a lot of things you can learn in the military discipline-wise that these parents just do not teach their children. All right. But rant over. I just wanted to share this little idea here about maybe how we could go about creating a lot less of this stuff right here. Is just trying to be better parents. Just trying to be better disciplinaries. Don't be afraid to spank your kids. If I see you spank your kid out in public, I'm just gonna keep walking, bro. I'm not worried about you abusing the kid if it's just to spank him. If I hear a kid screaming, listen, this is nothing. I hear too many kids screaming, not from getting spanked, but screaming because they didn't get their way. And they're on the ground having a tantrum. I remember there used to be a day when you had a tantrum. That was the end of you. You were over.
Get him out of here!
Your family had a plot for you. And you know what? They better have that gravestone at least halfway chiseled out. Depending on how young you were. You might not have had that many letters put on your gravestone yet. But you were done when you threw a tantrum. Bruh. You were finished.
Finish him.
At least that's what your siblings would be saying. Because you'd be about done. Be about done, player. And that needs to come back. That's part of the family value system that has been lost. Another one we could talk about at another time, maybe, since it's not really my arena. That's how we mother children. As the mothers out here, how do you mother your kids? I see a lot of good examples out there. I see a lot of good examples. It's hard to find a good example, really, though, that's out there hustling their career and being a mom. It's hard to see somebody doing both effectively. I believe personally, motherhood is a full-time job if done right. If done right, and not only is it a full-time job, but a mother will then take on other responsibilities because she takes on mothering as a full-time job, and it only becomes part of the parcel of being a good mother, because you will have free time. But a good mom, just like any good father, wants to stay a little busy with their craft. So they'll find ways to keep the family tighter, or help her sister with her family stuff, or look out for mom a little bit, or understand mom's having a tough time with dad. Maybe talk to dad a little bit. These are the things moms do. They go to the school for the PTA meetings because they know how to read the room. Dads will go in there. Dad looks at everything. This dad at least looks at everything like a hammer. It says a nail. If it's a nail, I know how to swing. But anyway, good moms, you know what I'm talking about, and you're respected. You're loved. We need more of you. There are some good examples, though. I can think of one specifically. She's a realtor. My blood aunt's husband, my Uncle Keith. It's his niece. She's she knows if she watches this, she knows who she is. She's a salesperson for her realtor company. Does a lot of good work there, getting people their homes, and great mom. Kids are doing great. Kids are young. They're happy. They're healthy. They're vibrant, full of color in life, and they got good opportunities, and she's keeping them there, and she's keeping them straight. I remember her parents, too. Her parents were like that. Her mom, oh, man, I loved her mom. Her mom was so straight. She was like, if you could see a Western, that Western mom, like that Western lady, that tough Western lady that I always told you how it was, that's her mom. Like I'm not saying she's a cowgirl, but she would have made a great cowgirl. But anyway, these strong women, they're out there, okay? But to be able to do both is kind of hard. Most women have to make a decision on whether they want to be career-driven or family-driven. I'm not saying it's not as hard as I think to do it, but I would think it would be kind of hard considering what I believe a mother's job is and how hard it can be just to be a mom in general. However, though, if you have a good support group, a good like I was just talking about with this family member of mine, just a good support group, the family, very good family. That's another thing we got to worry about is taking care of our family, taking care of the family unit. Like I was saying, the community. These things need to be looked after. They need to be they need to be pumped up. So yeah, that's my thought on all this stuff, and this is just kind of a Facebook post. I'm sorry this got so long and winded, but this is just kind of one of those things I think about sometimes. So, there's that. Hope you guys got to know me a little better than this one, and we'll see you in the next one.